Hey, New Life Church. If we haven't had the chance to meet, my name is Jordan, and my wife Leah and we just have the awesome privilege of getting to be the pastors at our Clarksville campus. Today, we are continuing in our Life of David series. We've been in this series all summer long, learning about some of the incredible things that took place in David's life. And if you've been with us for this journey, you know that David's life had some high points and he had some low points, just like you and I. Today, what we're going to see is that David finds himself in a battle that he didn't want to fight. Battles were nothing new to David. He was a king, he was a warrior, but this wasn't like any other battle. This wasn't a battle between nations. It wasn't even really about a battle between kings as much as it was a battle between family. In fact, what we're going to find is it's a battle between a father and a son. Now, I'll tell you, this story is a little complicated and it's a little long. So I'm going to do my best to simplify it, to summarize it, and hopefully we can pull some truth out of it in the end. So we've got some main characters here. We've got Absalom, who is David's son, Absalom's half-brother, who is Amnon, and then their sister, Tamar. Okay, so Absalom, Amnon, and Tamar. Let me tell you what happens. Unfortunately, and this is tragic, Amnon, the half-brother of Absalom, rapes their sister Tamar. When this happens, David is of course furious, but he doesn't seemingly do anything about it. He doesn't intervene. Well, this makes Absalom, the brother, even more angry. He's already angry at what his brother has done, but he's also angry that his father isn't stepping in to do anything about it. So years go by, and Absalom lets this anger and this bitterness towards his brother and towards his father continue to grow. He ends up taking matters into his own hands. In fact, we're told in the Bible that Amnon, Absalom's brother, the one that raped the sister, is actually at a party. He's had too much to drink. Absalom knows he's going to be there, so Absalom sends some of his men to actually kill his brother, to murder his own brother for raping their sister. Now, you thought that you had dysfunction in your family. Okay, there's some dysfunction going on here, but it's a tragic situation. Now, after this happens, more time goes by. What I would love to tell you is that Absalom repents of killing his half-brother, and that David and him, they mend their relationship, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. What does happen, though, is David actually bans Absalom from his presence for killing his own brother, and he says that he's not allowed into the king's presence any longer. More time goes by. Unfortunately, what happens over time just gets worse. Now, let me pause right there for just a moment. There may be some similarities here that we're already seeing that you see in your own family. Maybe there's hurt in your family that is a result of unresolved conflict. Maybe it's unforgiveness, hurt, bitterness. Maybe these things have left you with a very complicated family situation, just to say the least. And in this story, what is so heartbreaking is that David loved Absalom. Of course he loved his son. He loved him. But because of these wounds that they've inflicted on one another, David not stepping up to be the father, to intervene, to take the measures necessary, and then Absalom taking matters into his own hands and killing his brother, these unresolved conflicts, these wounds that have just been left there have caused a lot of hurt. So the story gets worse. Absalom actually continues to get very bitter towards his father. David didn't step in to fix things when his sister got raped. David then basically banned Absalom from his presence. And so Absalom decides that he's going to take over David's kingdom, that he's going to be king, and that he basically declares war on his own father. And it comes to the point of them going to battle. Now, David does say before they go to battle, he tells his men, please take it easy on my son Absalom. He's still my son. So they go to battle. And then there's this event where Absalom, he's riding on a donkey. And the Bible tells us that in 2 Samuel chapter 18, that he rides through some thick trees, a thick forest, and his hair actually gets caught on a tree branch. The donkey that he's riding keeps on going, but Absalom is left hanging by his hair. One of David's servants, Joab, even though David gave the order, "Please go easy on my son," when Joab sees Absalom hanging by his hair, helpless in the tree, the Bible tells us that Joab actually takes 3 spears and stabs them through Absalom, killing him as he hangs on that tree. David, when he hears the news, is of course heartbroken. In fact, we're told in 2 Samuel chapter 18, verse 33. It says that the king was overcome with emotion. He went up to the room over the gateway and he burst into tears. And as he went, he cried out, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, if I had only died instead of you. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son." It's a tragic story. No happy ending, no restoration, no resolution. It's a wound that never healed and a family that is torn apart. But here's the good news. You want some good news? Because that's a pretty terrible story. The good news is this doesn't have to be your story. One of the most important battles that you're ever going to fight is the fight for your family, the battle for your family, the battle to create and cultivate peace in your family. In fact, in Jesus's Beatitudes, when he's teaching the Beatitudes in Matthew chapter 5, he said this in Matthew 5, verse 9. He said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Now, here's what I want you to notice. Jesus doesn't say, "Blessed are the peacekeepers." He says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Now, you may say, well, what's the difference in a peacekeeper and a peacemaker? Well, a peacekeeper works around conflict. They try to avoid it. That's what David did. He tried to avoid the conflict. He didn't intervene. He didn't handle the situation in the beginning. He tried to take the easy road and ultimately made it worse. Peacemakers, however, they work through conflict. Now, as a peacemaker, that doesn't mean that we just go looking for conflict, but it means that when conflict arises, we embrace it and we work through it. Listen to what Paul said in Romans chapter 12, verse 18. He said, "If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." Live at peace with everyone. That phrase, live at peace, in the original Greek, it's a verb that is requiring action. It literally means to make peace or to cultivate peace, to take action to make it happen. But what does this look like practically for you and I in our family? How do we make peace? How do we cultivate peace? How do we create peace in our family situation? 2 things come to mind. The first one is this: we apologize when we're wrong. This isn't always easy to do, but we apologize when we're wrong. We admit specific actions without excuse. This is something that we don't see David doing in this story with Absalom, and we don't see Absalom doing it with his father. We don't have record of either one of them apologizing, and it causes bitterness to continue to grow until it's just completely out of control. We apologize when we're wrong. I was wrong. Please forgive me. The second thing that we need to do that we don't see David and Absalom modeling in their family is we forgive when we've been hurt. We apologize when we're wrong, and we forgive when we've been hurt. Again, no record of apologies, no record of forgiveness between David and Absalom. And I can't help but wonder how things might have been different for generations to come if David and his son Absalom would have taken the initiative to not just try to keep peace, but to make peace, to cultivate and create peace in their family by apologizing when they messed up, by seeking forgiveness and receiving forgiveness from one another, giving forgiveness when they'd been hurt. Now, will this always be easy? to apologize when we're wrong, and to forgive when we've been hurt. Will this be easy in our family? I think you probably already know the answer to that. The answer is no. It won't always be easy, but it is possible with the help of God. With the grace of Jesus, it is possible. And it's crucial that we get this. See, there's something that David and Absalom didn't understand that I hope you'll understand this morning. In fact, if you remember one thing from our time together, I hope it's this statement: family is worth it. Your family is worth it. My family is worth it. As fully devoted followers of Christ, as Christ-centered families, we don't give up when it's hard. We don't avoid the hard conversations. We don't write somebody off when they mess up or make a mistake. We don't hold grudges. We don't get bitter. We don't try to work around the conflict, but we work through it, because we're not just peacekeepers, but we're peacemakers. And when we are, Jesus says that we will be blessed. I love you, church. We're praying for you. Hope you have a great day.